Another distinguished guest with us today that was really not on our schedule, but we wanted to spend 5 or 6 minutes with this just incredible leader while she was here in the city. The Gore family have been here for the last few days as they did their quarterly family business meeting. They typically choose different places all over the world to be, and they chose not Lynchburg nearly as much as an opportunity to be here at Liberty. They've been wanting to see what God was doing. So yesterday they toured our school. They got to, in the middle of their business meeting, also be able to spend some time with President Falwell. And we just found real commonality and just vision. And we're talking about really literally a product that many of you right now are wearing. If you wear Burton or Patagonia or North Face or Under Armour or Lululemon or Prada, you know that when it comes time to protection, right? Levi's, whatever, I don't know, Wrangler, U-shaped butt jeans, whatever, all right? Gore-Tex has made an impact in your life. And so this is a family who not only has incredible affluence, but incredible influence that they use so many times for kingdom advancement. And so President Falwell and I want to just spend a few minutes with Susan Gore. Can we just put our hands together for the great Susan Gore? Honored to have you. Ms. Gore, they're saying, Jerry. That's what they're doing. That's what they do for the man they call.
You forgot to mention the guitar strings, which are wrapped,
They're Gore-Tex guitar strings.
Yeah, it's wrapped around the guitar strings. You probably have them in your band.
Wow.
It keeps the strings from being degraded by the sweat, basically.
Wow. You're making money in places we didn't even know. That's amazing. Please, thanks for being here today with us.
Yes, thank you.
I know you were at dinner together. We were all just kind of sitting around, and you were talking to President Falwell and just talking life. And after we left dinner, Jerry texted and said, man, I would love for our students to get access to some of the stories that I got access to.
Yeah, Susan, we're just so honored to have you here. And I want to thank Congressman Gohmert for being here. I told Sean Hannity you were here while you were speaking, and he texted and he asked me to read you this message. He said, Louis, thanks for being the principal fighter you are. You are a national treasure. If every Republican was willing to fight like you and use their enumerated constitutional powers of the purse, we can preserve this great country for future generations. Thank you for leading the way you are, and God bless you, from Sean.
Absolutely.
I wish we had 434 more like you in Washington. It'd be a different place. But Susan, it was such an honor to meet you and your family yesterday. Permanence Capital, John Regan and Lana McKenzie are here from New York. They look after all of Liberty's, all of your tuition money. They're responsible for managing it and preserving it and keeping it, and also the same for the Gore family. But last night you were telling some stories about well, one more thing. Let me thank all of you for your love and support and prayers. My mom passed away just before my younger son's wedding a week and a half ago, and we received so many messages and so many well wishes, and I just wanted to thank you as a student body for all your love and support. I just didn't want to forget that. But last night, Susan was telling me an incredible story about how her father, it's a story really for you business students and entrepreneurs, about how he started out his business by selling baths to coal miners for 25 cents. If you could start with that story in 1928 and just tell us how that became later Gore-Tex International Corporation.
Well, I know we've been here a while. I want to ground this with some dates. 1928, 1958, 1992. In 1928, my father was 16, and he was bouncing with energy. He had graduated from high school. This was Depression time, but he got a summer job in a coal mine. Some of you might know Park City, Utah. At that time, At that time, it was a mining town, a few shacks around painted yellow. And his job was to shovel coal all day and load it up. So he built a lot of muscle that summer. He was delighted to be there. He took an old leaky tent, so it didn't keep the rain out too well. But he looked around for opportunity. Just due to his, you never know what'll happen, right? And he found an old bathtub, and he found a spring that was putting out enough water that it could fill the bathtub in a day's work. And he rigged up some pipes to the tub. And after the miners got out of work, they were really in need of a bath. And he put a fire under the tub and heated up the water and sold baths to his fellow miners for 25 cents a bath. Of course, they all went in the same water, but they really didn't care because it was better than nothing. And at the end of the summer, the mining company ran out of money, and he didn't get paid, but he had the money from the bathtub business. And so he used that to pay his admission, getting a loan to Westminster College in Salt Lake City. And that was very characteristic of my father. He said he could find a use for anything. Fast forward to 1958, and he had been working as a physical chemist for the DuPont company in a very hierarchical environment. You know that Liberty, compared to other schools, is not a hierarchical place, and it gives you a lot of more freedom to grow and take advantage of opportunities. And so he was frustrated. His job was to find applications for things such as polyethylene, where somebody said they should have a plant that would make 8 million pounds a year, and he said, no, 100 million. There are lots of things you can do with this stuff. Well, of course, he underestimated, but he was always considered a little crazy for being a visionary. So my mother and he had been hoping to have an ideal workplace where they could make an environment where creativity could happen. You can't tell where it's going to happen, where it's going to pop up. It might be here, it might be there, but when it does happen, you want to foster it. And so he left DuPont, and we started business in the basement of the house. We used a lot of kitchen equipment like blenders and the oven, and the house was kind of taken over by this apparently shipshod organization, but we did make a product, an electronics product, that got us going. In 1969, my brother got his PhD in chemical engineering and came to work with the company. And we were doing okay. We had built a small cedar block plant, and we had a very busy production floor. We didn't have research facilities. Everything that we were experimenting with was on the production floor. But he found a room off the production floor, and after everything was quiet, he decided to look for a copolymer of Teflon. The company had originally been founded on the basis of the unusual, unique properties of Teflon that nobody knew how to fabricate with. Nobody knew how to make anything with it. And that was the goal of the original company. So he took some rods, just white plastic rods, with him, and had an oven in there. And if you scientists know that when you're doing a scientific experiment, you keep a note in your lab book, and you do something, and then a little more of something, and then a little more something, like titration, chemists would know, and a little more. And that was the way that people normally approached a situation. But my brother was going to fall into something different, maybe due to his temper. I'm not sure. But I am the younger sister, so I can appreciate that aspect. And so he heated up the Teflon and wanted to make a copolymer by expanding it. So he had asbestos gloves on. He'd take the rod in one hand, and then in the other hand, and stretch it out. And then make it a little hotter and stretch it out. And all the plastic just draped like taffy. And so he had one more rod left, and he said, maybe he might have sworn a little, I don't know. He heated it up very, very hot, And then he took it, and instead of pulling it, he went like this. Yanked it with tremendous speed. And guess what? He'd done it. The Teflon had transformed into another form. Now, what's fortunate about this, and you might see this in your own lives, we can have a daily situation, and we won't necessarily see the opportunity in it. We want to be in the Spirit. We want to recognize how we can serve people. We want to see where our opportunities are. But the ground had been laid through visioning over the years for taking advantage of this opportunity. My father had worked with the plastics in DuPont. And so now there are thousands and thousands of products made from this material, taking advantage of its unique properties. Now, while we were inventing in the electronics industry, we have like a seismic cable on the moon that's still sending in messages, and the space suits are made out of Gore-Tex. We also were working in the medical field, and medical is our biggest business now. So we were able to keep the fabrics business going by these other inventions, and we didn't break even in the fabrics business till 1992. It takes that long and that much persistence to build a market. And it's interesting to me to watch Liberty because Dr. Falwell visioned for many years, and recently everything with Jerry Falwell Jr., everything has come to flower. But when you're young and you're visioning and you're looking for opportunity, I think it can be providential. It certainly was with us. And now we're a multinational company where we have about 12,000 associates worldwide, but we're very careful to preserve our culture, which we've been able to awaken people in China, Germany, and other countries, Africa, to continue the fundamental practices that allow creativity to happen. So
from 1928 until 1992, there was no fruit. You didn't break even. For Liberty, we didn't break even until later than that. But the message, my father, he never spoke without saying to young people, never give up, never quit. And that's a prime illustration of why you guys should never give up, never quit. And you were talking last night also about how that story you believed exhibited God's abundance. And you might want to say a word or two about that.
I don't know. Does anybody here take an economics course? Well, I'd like to say, from a Christian point of view, that the first thing they teach you in economics is wrong. They teach you...
I agree.
They teach you that economics is the study of the utilization of scarce resources. But God is abundant. And if we, So my father would say you look at the actual situation. And if you look at the actual situation, you can find uses for that situation. And certainly, as a Christian, you're listening in the Spirit, and you're taking advantage of providence. So Christ says, be careful, take care how you listen.
Well, this was an unexpected treat for us, and we're so honored to have you here, Susan.
Thank you very much.